Valerie Starn, and you're watching The Pulse. Have you ever heard sirens in your neighborhood and thought, should I be concerned about that? Well, then you should have Nixle. We're talking with crime prevention specialist Andi Querry of the Newport Beach Police Department. Tell us what Nixle is and how it works.
Well, Nixle is a community-based system that we can send messages out to our residents. It's actually something that's used all over the country by different government agencies, but we utilize it to communicate with our residents on a variety of alerts and advisories, community events. Nixle has several different levels of messages, and so we utilize it depending on the type of information we need to get out to the residents.
So everybody knows about Facebook, but this is a social media designed just for law enforcement or local government. That's right?
Correct, yes. What happens is a resident can actually sign up by entering their home address, their email address, and cell phone number if they wish to receive text messages, and then we can send them out messages according to what they've signed up for.
What would be an example of that? I mean, if my neighbor, or better yet, if the neighborhood next door to me, where I know nothing about what might be happening because I didn't hear any noises, and my neighbors aren't around to say, hey, did you see that? And their home is burglarized, is this how I might find out that that happened?
Yes, the way I utilize it, I actually utilize Nixle about a couple times a week, is I review our calls for service and I review our reports. And if we've had a residential burglary in an area, my goal is within the few days or that day if I discover it, to get a Nixle message out to the residents in that area. So if you live in our city and you live on the peninsula, you will receive alerts and advisories designated just for your area, not necessarily ones from Newport Coast. Now I do send out citywide messages. Earlier this year we did have catalytic converters, and it was a trend happening citywide, and so I did send out a citywide message. But on a weekly basis, I send out several residential burglary alerts to residents. And then in addition to that, if they've had several vehicle burglaries or another type of crime trend in their neighborhood, I will send them a message like that as well.
And I know this is something that you really appreciate, Nixle's service. The company's been around for about 5 years. Newport's been using them for the last couple of years. Yeah. Why do you like it? What does it do for your department?
Well, what it does for me as a crime prevention specialist is I oftentimes will do residential burglary alerts, and then I will depend on our volunteers to pass them out. Well, if I don't have a volunteer that day, those residents are not going to get that alert. And for an example, on Lido Isle, if I had a residential burglary there, it would take me several days to get notices out to all the residents. Well, with a push of a button, I already have over 100 residents signed up on that, and they will get it via a text message. If somebody actually had a surveillance photo of that suspect in one of the burglaries or a theft of some kind, I can attach up to 4 photos. So on your cell phone, you can get a text message showing you what happened in your neighborhood, and if we have information on the suspect or their image, right there in your hand on your cell phone.
What are the other ways that the information is conveyed? Your home computer?
Yes, you can check it on your home computer, and there's different levels. Community notices are all our press releases or any community activities we get, and those will always come on your computer, all advisories and alerts. Advisories are what I utilize on a regular basis to send out crime alert information. Now those, you can have those on your cell phone or your email. You'll get everything via email. But we limit what's on your cell phone. You're not going to want all of our community notices on your cell phone. You might just want to stick to advisories and alerts, and so that's what we try to do for you.
Because of Nixle plugging in your community to more of what's going on, I understand that you've had more calls for Neighborhood Watch programs.
Yeah, our Neighborhood Watch, several years ago, it just kind of fizzled out. We didn't have a whole lot going on, which is good for us in Newport. We're not going to complain. But I was seeing that our numbers of participating groups were decreasing. Well, with Nixle, people are excited about Nixle. They tell their friends about it. They know what's going on. They love knowing what's going on. And then knowing what's going on makes them want to do something about it. And most of the stuff is really simple. Lock your doors, take valuables out of plain sight, and if you have an alarm, activate it. Real simple things. But they're excited to get involved with Neighborhood Watch again, which allows me to go out in the community, have a meeting, let them meet the area officers, and it just creates a greater partnership between us and the community, and it helps us to fight crime.
So locally, for our viewers in Newport, what's the number to call if they want to learn more about Neighborhood Watch or Nixle?
At Nixle Neighborhood Watch, they call 949-644-3699, and they'll get me, and we can set up a Neighborhood Watch meeting or just discuss whether they currently have one and how they need to get involved in it.
And for our larger audience, if they want to learn more about Nixle, not every department offers it, so either go on to Nixle, see if it's available in your area, and if not, maybe call your local police department.
Call your local police department, check on the Nixle website. You can always see if they do have somebody locally. And it's also a good way to keep track of family members, parents, grandparents in other cities and see what's going around in their neighborhood.
Oh, so you can sign up for more areas and get those alerts.
You can do multiple locations. Once you've entered your location, you can go to the location setting and you can add as many locations as you'd like.
And the best part, what's the charge?
It's free.
Great. Thank you so much, Crime Prevention Specialist Andi Querry. And you've been watching The Pulse. Thanks for joining us. I'm Valerie Starn.